Hill, Kerry, Battery Park City Authority. The minutes from the June 5, 2012 meeting will be presented for approval at our next meeting. As to corporate action, the first item on the agenda is the authorization of the implementing documentation for phase of the Brookfield WFC renovation. So I guess that's the first step.
Excellent. Good morning, everybody. The members have been advised previously about the Brookfield renovations in July 2011, October 2011, and at our March 2012 meetings. And it's this Brookfield Properties self-funded $250 million project involving the renovation, reconfiguration, and upgrading of the retail and dining space in the World Financial Center, and an upgrade of all of the lobbies for the World Financial Center project. And the various components of the project have been discussed at various times, and we wanted to regroup. There's a new set of documents, and we wanted to just go over everything and be sure everybody was very clear about where we are. The pavilion documents were executed in December of 2011, and that construction, you can see, has already begun. The second tranche of documents has come forward, and I will turn it over to Phyllis. These essentially relate to the renovation and construction of the Market and Dining Terrace and related amendments to the Tower B severance lease, including the Marketplace and Dining Terrace project operating agreement, which governs how all the construction will take place, and then documents related to the entrances and lobbies of 4 World Financial Center. When we talked about this previously, Brookfield had looked at doing everything all at once, but they decided to stage all of the renovations and the appropriate documentation that goes along with it. So, Phyllis, I will turn it to you. You've been working on all of these documents.
I might say that this has been a rather complex and very time-consuming transaction, and I have relied extensively on 2 members of my staff, Seema Singh and Megan Chernetsky, and they've done a tremendous job working with Brookfield to effectuate these documents. And I'm going to turn this over to Seema to do a summary of the various documents.
Okay, as Gail said, this is just a ratification of our approval of the entire project, and Brookfield has decided to approach it in phases. The current phase relates to the Marketplace and Dining Terrace. They think that doing a phased approach is easier. This portion of the project is a $60 million project. The documents that we received have had slight changes from the previous versions, and I'll highlight a few of those for you. And all of the documents are available here today for your review. In addition, they can be emailed to you if you prefer. The diversity provisions in the documents have been updated to reflect the current law, but it's still a 20% MBE WBE aggregate. The Gourmet Marketplace in Tower B will now be run by one vendor, which is different from what they had thought in the past. They thought it would be multiple vendors. Finance has reviewed the economics of the phased approach, and they are okay with it. An additional part of the project that was not discussed before in detail is the fact that Brookfield is requesting sales tax relief from material and related hard costs pertaining to the pending project, as the authority will end up owning the materials that are incorporated into the project. We are currently considering their rationale, and we will present a recommendation at the next meeting. The next phase of the project will be the courtyard retail portion and amendment of the severance leases, and we have not begun that yet.
Can I also ask a question on the timeline? Because you said they're breaking this down now. So what? Just help me understand. So the dining and the arcade area is going to be done when, and then the retail is done when?
They expect this portion of the dining to be done spring 2013, and I believe that the retail portion should be done by the fall of 2013.
Okay, and while the dining is open but the retail is shut, what's the access in and out of the building?
They have developed, they're looking at their access plans that we then have to approve, so that you can make sure that the flow, just the way that they boarded up the interior for the for the pavilion,
Yeah.
they came to us with that plan and we had to approve it. So when they come to back with that plan, we'll have to approve the access.
Okay, sure.
And I might say on the sales tax, just to add a few comments here. Typically, we have in the past provided the sales tax relief when we're working with an entity that's involved in new construction. Here we're talking about major renovations to a project, and so there was a need to take a look at some of the tax laws in the city and ask Brookfield to provide us with their rationale for why we should extend the credit in this instance.
Extended as a 501c3?
No, it's a
Not extended as a pass-through sales tax.
And as we're
We're
501c3.
exempt and we're passing through.
We can pass our exemption.
The exemption.
Not as a 501c3, just as our exemption as a state entity. And the fact that we would own all of the assets at the end of this. That's what we're still analyzing in terms of the sales tax. That's not being voted on today. We just wanted to alert you that they had requested it, and that is something that we're looking at. But it's on a $250 million project. You can,
which materials probably
Right,
100
exactly.
to 125, 8%, $10 million.
about 10, give or take, right. That's the back of the envelope, but we're looking at the different components, and they have to provide us with the budgets about what their steel is going to cost and their other construction items and et cetera.
Isn't that a legal question more than, is that a negotiating point, or that's a legal question?
Well, the reason that we were looking into this is because under the severance leases on the various towers, there is a prohibition against extending the sales tax benefit. And this is a similar type of arrangement, only it's a larger scale renovation. So we decided to step back and take a look at it and discuss it with the board.
There are sales tax benefits offered in Lower Manhattan currently for renovations, which is as a result of a lot of the incentive packages after 9/11. And so we're trying to coordinate with the city and the state to understand the thinking, which is that as Brookfield leases out to other entities, those entities are getting sales tax benefits. And so they're just looking to be able to access the same set of tax benefits and tax advantages that other entities are getting in Lower Manhattan. So we just
was mentioned that finance is okay with the project. Is that what you said?
Yes.
Just the second part. Has finance issued a memo in that regard?
I don't believe so.
We think that would be
The board
appropriate.
approved the financial deal. This is a subset of that financial deal because it only deals with severance fee, severance lease fee. But yeah,
I think we should have in the file for the
In
board.
March 2012, the financial parameters around the retail leasing with CBRE made those recommendations. The reason we're bringing it back is because of the phasing of the project. It had an impact on how the dollars were going to be allocated, but the overall number remains unchanged, and we can put that in.
Okay, I just think that it was mentioned that finance is okay with it, that we should have something attached to
absolutely
for the file that the
Yep.
So is there, will the document include an amendment to the lease? Is there, when you talk about a set of documents that are being approved?
Yes.
Among those documents, is there an amendment to the lease?
Yes.
Reflecting
Tower
the
B's, it's called
phasing,
the
whatever
Tower
is
B's
related
severance
to this
lease.
account?
Exactly.
Yes,
Exactly.
it's all segmented, yes.
Okay.
Can we just go back to the sales tax question for a moment? I'd like to understand who helps us understand ultimately what's the right thing to do. So who are the folks that are the experts that are going to tell us this is the right thing to do?
So we have,
and
and
it's
I've
legal
already,
and it's appropriate.
right, so several places that would take place. So I have talked to Albany and to the governor's office, and obviously we'll work with the New York State Empire State Development Corporation, and they work in conjunction with the New York City EDC, Economic Development Corporation. Those two entities are generally where the taxes are, the sales tax benefits are analyzed and approved. And we will also work with the New York State Department of Taxation and Finance. And so I've spoken to the Deputy Secretary for Economic Development in Albany about this issue, and obviously it's new and it's not baked yet, but we didn't want anybody to not know about it and be surprised.
Okay.
So today's actions we're not taking any action on sales tax today.
Okay.
But it's a good question, because that's one of the first
questions we
reasons
had.
why I stepped back. I didn't know how we actually, what process we needed to have in place in order to approve a sales tax benefit, because clearly if you're taking the property off, the tax rolls, there's going to be some impacts here. So I just didn't know how it was done.
So maybe you guys can just keep us updated on it.
Yeah,
absolutely,
You have to do a little
The
digging.
sales tax, as you know, goes to the city and state, doesn't come to the Battery Park City Authority, but it's still a benefit.
But we're used as the pass-through, and we just have to be sure it's done.
Okay, any other questions? If none, there's a motion to approve the series of resolutions. Phyllis, do you?
Do you want to read the specific
Should we read,
resolutions? Yep.
has everybody read the resolutions?
I can read through them.
Any
I'll go-
questions, or what do you want to do?
I'll read each of the resolutions, that way we'll have it on the record. Resolution 1 is approval of a proposed marketplace and dining terrace agreement among Battery Park City Authority, Brookfield Financial Properties, American Express Company, Merrill Lynch, and various entities affiliated with the authority, Brookfield Properties, Amex, and Merrill Lynch. That's the first item. Number 2 is approval of a proposed agreement regarding project operating agreement among the authority, Brookfield Properties, Amex, and Merrill. Number 3 is approval of a proposed amendment to the Tower B severance lease between the authority and World Financial Properties Tower B Company LP. And the last is number 4, approval of a letter regarding proposed Tower D lobby work among the authority, Brookfield Properties, and the World Financial Properties Tower D Company LP.
Okay. Any questions on the resolutions? If none, a motion to approve. Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Second item is the authorization to enter into an agreement with the Alliance for Downtown New York for the payment of an annual fee. Okay.
So, as you all may know, the Downtown Alliance receives its financial support primarily from real estate special assessment that is levied by the City of New York on properties located within the geographical boundaries of the BID, or the Business Improvement District. Battery Park City is not located within the boundaries of the BID and is not required to make special assessment payments. Nonetheless, the authority and several other organizations pay